I'm sorry. Those two simple words spoken by Jungkook shook the hearts of millions of armies around the world. An emotional statement he delivered through a personal live broadcast became an unforgettable moment in BTS's fandom history. Delivered with a trembling voice and eyes that were nearly filled with tears, the apology was not just a reflection of the heavy burden he carried, but also a symbol of the major changes currently unfolding in the group's dynamics. I end the nearly 30-minute broadcast. Jungkook spoke very carefully. He didn't explicitly state that he was leaving BTS or signing an exclusive contract with any international label, but his words carried deep meaning that couldn't be ignored. I know many of you may be disappointed, but I feel I need to be honest with myself and also with all of you, said Jungkook during the broadcast. This decision wasn't easy. I just want you to know that I love you all so much, more than anything. This statement seemed like an indirect confirmation of the rumors that have been circulating in recent weeks regarding Jungkook's move to America and his growing distance from HYBE's management. But it wasn't just his words that moved fans to tears. It was also the emotional response from Taehyung that followed, which quickly went viral and captured the public's attention. Just hours after Jungkook's broadcast, Taehyung attended a private event with several industry colleagues. In a video secretly recorded by a fan and later spread widely on social media, Taehyung was seen standing alone in the corner of the room with his head down. When one of his friends tried to comfort him, he was seen wiping away tears. An eyewitness said Taehyung briefly said, "I can't imagine a day without him on the same stage." That sentence sparked an emotional outpouring among fans who had long witnessed the close friendship between Taehyung and Jungkook. This incident reinforced speculation that Jungkook's decision had indeed been known by the BTS members for some time, and that its impact wasn't just professional, but deeply personal. Taehyung, known for his strong emotional bond with Jungkook since their trainee days, seemed deeply affected by the decision. Many linked his tears not only to a sense of loss as colleagues, but also as a friend who had been through so much together. The reaction from the ARMY community was no less emotional. A massive number of fans across various platforms expressed their support and understanding, but many also voiced deep sadness and disappointment. One fan wrote, "I cried not because I'm angry, but because I feel like I'm losing someone who has always been my source of strength." That sentence represented the emotions of millions have grown alongside Jungkook's music and life journey for more than a decade. Amid this touching atmosphere, several international media outlets began to highlight the psychological aspects of the pressure experienced by BTS members. CNN, in its article, highlighted how global fame can be a double-edged sword for idols like Jungkook. On one hand, they are loved by millions, but on the other, they continuously live under nearly inhuman expectations, the report said. This offered the perspective that Jungkook's decision, no matter how painful it may be for fans, might be the only way for him to preserve his mental health and personal integrity. Meanwhile, HYBE has yet to issue any official statement regarding Jungkook's status or a response to Taehyung's emotional reaction. However, several South Korean media outlets reported that HYBE is currently experiencing a communication crisis and is reevaluating their approach in managing senior artists like BTS. Some sources even mention serious concerns among directors over the long-term impact on the company's reputation if the internal conflict is not wisely addressed soon. Korean public relations expert Park Min-kyu said in an interview with SBS News that a transparent and empathetic step from HYBE is urgently needed. "We are witnessing a crisis that not only touches the professional side but also strikes at the emotional core of the public. This is more than just contracts or concert schedules. This is about human relationships," he emphasized. Taehyung himself has not issued an official statement about his viral tears, but in a short post on Instagram, he simply wrote one sentence: "If this is what's best for him, then I'll learn to accept it." The sentence, though simple, revealed the emotional struggle he's facing. The public realized that this is not just about a colleague's departure, but also about an emotional farewell that is difficult to accept by someone who sees Jungkook as family. Meanwhile, some fans are trying to calm the situation by reminding the community to continue offering support, not pressure. ARMY is not just here when everything's perfect. "We're here for them even when they have to make hard decisions," said one major international fanbase account followed by more than 1 million fans. However, over time, and with more parties issuing clarifications, it is important to emphasize that the widely circulated news regarding Jungkook's apology for his personal decision and the emotional moment where Taehyung was said to cry at a private event turned out to be untrue and factually unsubstantiated. To date, there's been no official statement, either from Jungkook, Taehyung, or HYBE labels, that confirms this narrative. The information that has spread is an exaggerated interpretation of digital content snippets and uploads that lack clear context. The first clarification came from a well-known South Korean entertainment journalist through an exclusive report released by Yonhap news agency. In the report, the journalist stated that the video supposedly showing Taehyung crying at an event could not be verified as a recent incident. The recording didn't display a confirmed date or location, and the face in the video couldn't be conclusively identified as Taehyung's. This means that the narrative suggesting Taehyung cried in response to Jungkook's decision is merely an assumption blown out of proportion by some social media users. Meanwhile, regarding Jungkook's alleged apology, it must be stressed that the live stream said to contain his emotional apology never actually occurred in the way it was reported. Several viral video clips were taken from older live streams dating back to the previous year, where Jungkook spoke generally to fans about the importance of life balance and his guilt for not being musically active for a while. However, these clips were re-uploaded with misleading captions, making them seem like a new statement related to his rumored move to the United States. Furthermore, there is no concrete evidence that Jungkook has officially settled in America or signed an exclusive contract with a foreign recording label. His overseas activities, including meetings with international musicians and private schedules in Los Angeles, are part of the creative and exploratory work he and other BTS members have long pursued as global artists. Such activities are not new for Jungkook and cannot be interpreted as a step toward leaving the group or his agency. HYBE itself has yet to issue an explicit statement regarding the rumor, but that is not a tacit admission. It is a professional stance to avoid responding to every rumor without basis. On multiple occasions, HYBE has reiterated that BTS as a group is still under contract for the coming years and that planning is underway for group activities after all members complete their military service. In addition, several figures in the Korean entertainment industry who are close to the BTS members have also begun to refute the baseless information. In a pop culture discussion program broadcast by NET, an artist manager who previously worked with BTS stated that the relationships between members, especially Jungkook and Taehyung, remain strong and professional. He emphasized that both artists are currently focused on preparing for the next phase of their careers after military service, not experiencing the emotional rift described in many social media narratives. Ironically, emotional narratives depicting tears, disappointment, and farewells are often used by certain parties to attract readers and spread viral content without considering the validity of the information. In today's digital ecosystem, where every video snippet or sentence can be manipulated, the public bears a great responsibility not to immediately believe and disseminate unverified information. This clarification should also serve as a reminder that even though we as fans feel deeply emotionally connected to our idols, we must still distinguish between reality and perceptions shaped by social media algorithms. Not everything that appears touching or convincing actually happened. Not every sad narrative reflects the real situation. For ARMY and the general public, it is important to remain wise in responding to all news, especially if the information does not come from official channels or highly credible media. Spreading false information not only affects public perception, but can also impact the mental and emotional well-being of the artists themselves, who have to face unhealthy expectations and speculation. Ultimately, the conclusion from this clarification is very clear. The news about Jungkook apologizing for his decision and Taehyung crying because he could not accept the situation is untrue. That narrative was built on subjective interpretation and irresponsible content editing, which then went viral amid the public's hunger for emotional drama from their idols' lives. As a final note, we must return to the fact that BTS, including Jungkook and Taehyung, are individuals who have the right to make personal choices in their lives. However, as of now, there is no official indication of an emotional or professional breakup as reported. BTS remains a group with a strong commitment to music, to their fans, and to one another. And as mature and wise fans, we should support them in a healthy way by prioritizing facts, empathy, and common sense.